judgment in which you now live. If I could live 10,000 or 20,000 years of age, I could be no more grateful than bearing witness that Allah did come to us and raised up a tiny nation, the nation of Islam, that he came to a people in the wilderness of North America. And that man's name is Allah, who came in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever. And we bear witness that he did give many names out, and that he did crisscross North America. While in Detroit, he raised up one who knew who he was because he studied, as we're taught to study by the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and all of our wise sages. That man who studied and was able to recognize who God was by seeing him face to face. That man born Elijah Poole, now known as Elijah Muhammad, who sits at the right hand of that man and is the living and exalted Christ. But I have never met personally Elijah Muhammad, and I have never met personally the Mahdi himself, Master Farrakhan Muhammad. But I thank Allah over and over and over and over again for another man whom is styled as David in the Bible, also styled as Muhammad in the Holy Quran. And that man who is a sign of our people, the 30 to 40 million or more dead who are slain, who are in a position that need to be mentally raised, that the spirits of the scriptures and those who came before us talk about this great one, the resurrector, this man by the name of the Most Honorable Louis Farrakhan. It is in their names that I would like to greet you all in the greeting words of peace and paradise of Assalamu Alaikum. Thank you once again, brothers and sisters from around the world, for joining me for the Farrakhan Hour. I'm especially excited today because my brother Abdul Sharif Muhammad is in the house. We're going to have a treat for you, as we promised that we got him here, and we're going to have a small interview where we'll give him an opportunity to speak on some very important current issues. But before then, I would still like to get an opportunity to show you all a DVD of Minister Farrakhan that is definitely a classic vintage material, and it is called The Gift of Divine Revelation, The Fabric of Faith, which is part 2, which is delivered November 23rd, 2004. So without further ado, here's the Most Honorable Louis Farrakhan Muhammad.
Oh, but that's out of his love. But it is also because he has studied his teacher and that word and that body of knowledge. So he's hard on the enemy, because he studies. So brothers and sisters, I just got word that that man and that wonderful, wonderful human being has joined us. He's in the mosque. He's making his way to us, and let us receive him, brothers and sisters, throughout the country, on the webcast, and here at Mosque Mania. Let us receive the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, who came in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever. We give him praise and thanks, and we could never, ever pay the debt that we owe for his coming and for his wise selection of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as the father of this nation. One who was his messenger, but more than a messenger, the Messiah, the exalted Christ, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I greet all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight on such short notice. And I want to thank all of those in the various mosques and study groups throughout the nation for coming tonight to hear what we have to say. I am so proud and thankful to Allah for my brother and my little helper and minister Ismail Muhammad. I heard that Sunday the mosque was all but packed completely, and that made me so very happy, because when you pack the mosque for Minister Ishmael, that means that he is growing and so are you. And it means that you see value in his preaching or teaching, so you're bringing people to hear him. And because you are doing that, the ranks continue, by Allah's help, to grow. I would love to see the mosque so packed that Minister Ishmael would have to have 2 services. One at 7:30 for the early risers, and one at 10. But I want him to know, and the laborers, Brother Mustafa, Brother Kamal, Sister Aisha, the lieutenants, all of you, that I thank you for supporting Brother Minister Ishmael and your laborers. I really appreciate that. And I hope and pray that the laboring community will work very hard to improve the quality of your service to the believers. Because the joy of the believer makes the mosque attractive. It is a beautiful house. When the messenger purchased it, it was one of the 8 or 10 finest houses of worship at that time in the country. And even though there are mega churches now, the quality of construction does not equal what is in your national center. So I thank all of you and all of the FOI throughout the nation for your sale and distribution of the final call, which makes you a little messenger of the messenger. And that's the way you should see yourselves. You're not paper boys. You're little messengers of God, delivering a word to your people who are dying and suffering for the lack of knowledge. MGT, I thank you and I thank Allah for you for wearing your garments, for not being ashamed of who God is making you, and modeling the beauty of decency in the midst of a sea of decadence. I thank you. There's a few messages that I called you to give you tonight. I brought with me the report and recommendations of the Commission for the Restructuring and Reorganization of the Nation of Islam. As you know, whenever the President of the United States impanels a commission to do a study, as was done recently to study 9/11, to study what happened, what the breakdown was that allowed something so horrendous to happen. When the commission finishes its work, it gives to the one who commissioned them a document, and that document